Welcome back in live to another episode of ROC Boys Football. Continuing with our position ranks for the 2022 NFL Draft, we're moving on to the safety position. Dill, I'm going to toss it over to you. You can talk about this first number one prospect. Honestly, he's a top 5 guy on both our big boards. Kyle Hamilton. What have you seen from Kyle Hamilton, Dill?
So, yeah, I mean, of course, there's no doubt who's the top dog in the safety room this year. That's obviously Kyle Hamilton. And I frankly think you could make an argument for him being the best player in the draft, just in terms of like that range at that size and the ball skills he has. Like that combo is just like you really haven't really seen it. I mean, we've seen guys like Ed Reed who really play well that ball hawk and have great range, Earl Thomas, but they're 6 feet tall and 200 pounds. Like Kyle Hamilton's giant and he can play that ball.
Unicorn-ish. I've seen him described as that. I would be okay with giving him that description. You said it best. 6'4", 220. He's the size of a linebacker. Has phenomenal range and ball skills. He had an interception against Florida State that he literally went from the outside, across the field from like the other hash, came in, made a play, kept his feet in bounds, and it was like one of the most insane plays I've seen, especially from a 6'4", 220-pound dude. They use him in a lot of different ways. They walk him up into the box. He blitzes off the edge. He plays man coverage in the slot, and he's good at it all. He can do anything you ask for him. He's got great instincts. Top 5 pick, I think, is a lock. Number one safety prospect. Honestly, there's not much
100%.
more to say that you guys haven't heard. Here's where the discussion really gets into it. Dylan and I have kind of gone back and forth. Daxton Hill from Michigan and Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. I honestly have these guys 2A, 2B, and they're going to end up going to wherever the team that kind of fits their scheme. In my mind, if you want to play a lot of man coverage, Daxton Hill's your guy. He pretty much played nickel corner for most of the year for Michigan, and he was pretty good at it. He really struggled against some of those elite separators. Jackson Smith-Njigba got him a few times against Ohio State. Jahan Dotson also got him a few times, and I think Jalen Naylor got him a few times against Michigan State. But other than that, I mean, he is very sticky in man coverage. He has phenomenal feet and pretty good ball skills. Ending his career in 3 seasons, I think he ended up finishing with 4 interceptions. I think double-digit pass breakups. So
yeah, and what you like about Dax Hill is, in addition to the man coverage, and I agree, he did have his moments, but the really only time I thought he was getting beat pretty badly was against Smith and Jigba.
Yeah,
and he. In fairness, like, yeah, he gave some up to Michigan State, Jalen Reed, especially, I think. And then you saw him give a little bit to Dotson, but in a lot of those cases, he was pretty close. Like, they had to make really good throws and good catches. So it's like he wasn't getting dusted by those guys. And Jigba gave it to him a little bit. But
yeah, he's also going to be
but with Daxton Hill, he's just an excellent tackler. So that's why he was playing the nickel role, is on pitches, on screens. He was really good at making impact TFLs. And that's kind of why I think Michigan was using him like they did. So it's hard to evaluate him compared to a Brisker who was playing more of the free safety role. But I think Dax Hill, he's a great athlete, he tackles well, all that. And in the man coverage skills, yeah, really impressive for a safety prospect.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's looking at him as like a nickel corner, because he does have he's shown that he can do it at a pretty high level, and I think that's
like
kind of
valuable position. It used to not be; it'd be like your third corner.
Now you're always a nickel. Yeah,
you need a legit nickel. So his ability to tackle along with play man coverage, yeah, I think is.
And one other thing is blitzing. Weapon. I mean, this dude he might run one of the faster 40s we see in all the combine. This dude, one of the fastest players in college football. His get off when he's coming off the edge is disgusting. He blitzed off the edge against Graham Mertz against Wisconsin, and I swear he got to him in like 1.5 seconds. I mean, it was like bang, bang. Timed the snap up really well. Great little 10-yard split to get to Graham Mertz. It was extremely impressive. Dude's very explosive. And that's really why I gave Daxton Hill the edge over Jaquan Brisker. I think they're both phenomenal prospects. Just the ability that Dax Hill showed to be really, really strong in man coverage, it kind of pushed him over the edge. And it's hard to evaluate these two because we didn't really see Dax Hill play much safety. As a true
No,
safety, we didn't see him play much. Uh, Jaquan Brisker, though, he's a good ball player. I was
it's a
I was
little
really
bit
impressed.
like how when Jabril Peppers was coming out. Like he did a lot of really good things, but you didn't see him play the role you kind of think he is
Yeah,
destined to play. Possibly, granted, I think Jabril couldn't cover like Dax Hill, so that does
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
make them. But yeah,
One more
I
thing.
agree. It is hard to evaluate these two because
Yeah,
play kind of different roles.
yeah.
Very, I should
One
say.
more thing on Jaquan Brisker before we move on. Uh, I thought he was very impressive tackling in the box too. Penn State liked to walk him up, and he'd make some really solid plays inside the box there. So
Well, my favorite thing about Brisker is range. I think you see
yeah,
him being
oh
able to
yeah,
play that single high safety
yeah,
and
center
go
fielder.
make plays on the balls. Like I
Oh yeah,
think the play that stands out to me is the one against Auburn where they threw it to the back of the end zone. He
yep,
had to come from
yep.
center field, but that's kind of what he did. He did it against Iowa a little bit,
And
and
he was mad at himself because he didn't make a pick, if I
yeah.
recall. Yeah,
So I like his range, and I don't think
yeah,
there's any safeties in this class who have shown the ability to play that center field role with pro level range like he has.
yeah. I would think Daxon Hill would have that range too.
Yeah, but
Just
you
he
still,
has
yeah.
speed,
No,
but
I
he didn't
mean
really
that's
show
the
it.
difference is you didn't see it. So
Yep.
it's if you really need a single high kind of safety who's going to be a bit of
Yeah.
more of the free safety role, like he has proved it, Brisker.
All right, moving on. So I think it's fair to say I have first round grades on all three of these guys. Kyle Hamilton obviously being a top 5 pick, Daxon Hill and Jaquan Brisker more of like 20 to 35 range. So late first, early second, depending on what teams like them. I think both these guys will put up some good numbers at the combine too and help themselves there. Let's move on to this fourth prospect who I have middle second round ish. As of right now, Lewis Seen from Georgia, one of the key cogs in that machine. He was third in tackles behind, I believe, N'Kobe Dean and Quay Walker. This dude comes downhill and absolutely
He's a hammer.
pounds people. After these three guys, like I think he's the next best strong safety available, and it's not really that close.
And I
Uh,
don't even think like depending on what you want in your safety, he's not like so far away from Brisker. Like, yes, he doesn't play that rangy ball hawk safety,
yeah,
but if you want more of a box like
he's much more of a
cover
strong.
two
Yeah,
safety or like I don't
yeah.
think it'd be ridiculous to say he might be up close to those guys at the top because he
Yeah.
does bring a level of physicality that the other two really don't have.
Yeah, I feel like just because he's such a thumper, he gets like that rep of like, oh, I can't cover, but he's really good in the run. But like he had not, believe 9 passes defended this year. Like he can play in coverage like really well. And was part of it just an absolutely elite defense from Georgia. And so I like this kid a lot. He's very tough as we talked about. Um, I need probably maybe 2 more games. It's so hard to watch Georgia film because like I just
Yeah,
found
because they're
myself
just
like,
dominating.
oh my god,
It's like
Jalen Carter's sick. Like, and then I'm just like, like it's just hard to focus on like one player. And my like squirrel brain just goes to like the flashes. But
it's
I,
also
I
hard because there's so many sacks and so
yeah,
like the
just
front
like
seven
blown
was
up
taking
plays.
care of the whole
Hmm.
game. So it's like God, the corners weren't really challenged a ton until Alabama, and same goes for the safeties. So it's hard to watch besides the Bama games, kind of, and
Yep.
see really what he can do because just swallowing teams up front.
Yeah, and then our last prospect, Leon O'Neal. I left a gap here because I'm not really sure if he'll be my fifth prospect. He was my fifth guy I watched. Um, he's a tough one, Dill. What did you see in Leon O'Neal's tape? Um,
So I mean, obviously he kind of brings the wood too.
yes, he
He's a
does.
more of a heavy, hard hitting safety. I think the real issue with him is I like very questionable with like level of stiffness and how he's going to hold up
In man
against
coverage, right? Like I
what.
just
Yeah,
feel like he was, and they didn't run it a lot. They brought him, they dropped him back in zone a lot, but like he did seem to struggle with that man coverage and like backpedaling and keeping his hips.
well, yeah, that's even like with safeties, you still got to be able to reroute yourself and do all that. And
Yeah,
I don't know that he's as fluid as the other four. So
no,
yes,
I
he
didn't see
does
that
hit,
either.
and so that's my main question, along with the fact that I think there were way too many tackles and bad angles taking when he's coming up to make plays on running backs. I mean,
Missed one against
sometimes we'll
Brian
just be
Robinson.
screaming down on him
Yeah.
and just take a brutal angle and miss it. And that really can't happen because that's how you give up big plays and
Yep.
that's how you get beat. So
And that's one thing Kyle Hamilton's done extremely well. He doesn't come down and pound people, but he just uses that range and he just wraps them up and tackles them. So it's not as flashy as like a Lewis Scene tackle, but he's a very good tackler. Did you watch his film on Alabama, Leon O'Neal?
yeah, I did watch it.
Yeah, that was he missed the tackle on Brian Robinson where he's doing exactly what you just described. He like tries to like rush downhill and make a 10 and just ends up just whiffing. Um, I'm just super confused. I might need to watch a little bit more film on this guy before I like decide to put him in my rankings. Also, probably a guy who benefited from a really disruptive front four with DeMarvin Leal, Clemens,
Yeah.
Peavy. But yeah, I'm not really
just
sure
a
where
good
I want to
overall
put him yet.
defense, frankly.
He's got good length. I mean, his arms are long, man, and he's got
Yeah, I
good
mean, I don't
muscles too.
just he's not he's definitely like he's a draftable player. It's just that I'm not sure he'll be in my top 5 by the end. I'll have to get through the rest of the
Well, he's a dude
prospects,
who's
but
benefited from a lot of going back to school. Jordan Battle back to school. Brandon
Yes,
Joseph
yeah,
back to school.
yeah.
Jalen Cadon from Arkansas back to school. I mean, this guy's probably more of an early day 3 pick. I think if the 3 like safeties who I think clearly a better prospects than him don't come back. So definitely benefiting a little bit from that. I got to get a feel get a feel. I feel like this is going to be my top 4.
Yeah.
I like all these players a lot, especially these top 3 guys. And I got to get in some more film on some of these other safeties before I kind of solidify these rankings.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I feel. I think that, and I don't know. I'm thinking Lewis Scene might be a little higher than, or I don't know, closer to those 2.
Yeah,
than
I don't
maybe
have them
some.
quite as close. I think it's like definitely late first round grades on those 2, and then Lewis Scene more mid second. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else to say on these prospects before we wrap up?
No, I mean I think it's a pretty solid class though for safeties.
It could have been so much better though. I mean, if Brandon
It
Joseph
could,
didn't
yeah.
just
They
have a
did leave
horrible
some
year,
guys.
Jordan Battle, I think, is a first round pick if he comes out. Bubba Bolden had a horrible year. And so there's a lot of guys who I think are super talented dudes and ended up not coming out.
I mean, you have 4 strong candidates for me, so that's
Yeah,
I like it.
and
You're
one
right
who's a
though.
stud, who's the best safety prospect I think we've seen maybe since
Yeah.
Jamal Adams. But yeah, that's a review on the top end safety guys. We'll be back doing safeties probably later next week as we kind of continue to work through our top tier position ranks. Cornerbacks up next. We'll get that video out hopefully by maybe Tuesday, Wednesday area. Once again, thank you all for sticking with us, and we'll talk to you all later. Peace.